This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
With Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. It's great to have you with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Jamie, of course, with the men winning last night, continues to put you in a good spot as far as the Big 12 tournament is concerned, which will begin not next week, but the following week. At this point, Arizona is on top at 13-2, and then Kansas, Iowa State, Houston, and Texas Tech all tied for second at 11-4 on the season. The good news is, at this point in time, you're tied with Houston because you won at home and they won at their place. You have Iowa State pending on Saturday, and of course you lost the game to Kansas at home. So they would have the tiebreak over you, but you would have the tiebreak over Houston because, as I understand it, you beat the team that's above them in Arizona. So, but still, I mean, 3 games left to play, and there's 4 teams fighting for 3 spots as far as that double bye is concerned. Obviously, that's important, right? The double bye. I mean, just to keep you from having to use your legs too much.
Yeah, that would definitely help. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. And so you're hoping that somebody slips up. Man, if Arizona had lost to Baylor last night, that would have made this incredibly. I mean, it's already extremely interesting. It just would have made it even more interesting because potentially the Big 12 title could be back in play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would have made it really fun, no question.
So you kind of think about that and what's left. And for Arizona, they play host to Kansas on Saturday. Of course, Kansas already has a win over them, so I'm sure that they'll be out for it. Because still, I mean, they have a chance to win the Big 12 title. And then Iowa State still has to go to Arizona and play there, and Arizona finishes up at Colorado. So 2 of their final 3 are really, really tough. For Kansas, their next game, as I said, will be at Arizona, and then their 2 games in March will be at Arizona State, and then they play host to Kansas State. So you would think 2 of their last 3 are not very challenging, right?
Yeah,
fair to say?
It feels like Iowa State, Kansas, and Texas Tech. There's a good chance that each of them are going to lose 1 game.
Yeah,
at least 1 game, right?
Yeah.
So if that happens, Houston is your number 2. Let's just say that happens. Houston's got a pretty easy schedule the rest of the way. Okay, Houston is your number 2, and that's if Arizona beats Kansas. Which I mean, it wouldn't shock me at all for Kansas to win that second game, but I would favor Arizona playing at home.
Yeah, no question.
In that contest. Okay, so now you have. That would leave you with Iowa State, it would leave you with Kansas, and it would leave you with Texas Tech, all tied for 3rd, correct? If they each just lost 1 game after this. And that would leave, you lost to both of those teams, Iowa State.
You'd be the odd man out.
You would be if you lost the game at Iowa State, right? That's the one that I feel is the toughest for the Red Raiders. I guess that's how it would work, Chuck. I mean, I guess.
And then for Iowa State, they finish obviously with Texas Tech on Saturday, and then they go out to Arizona. They play at Arizona on Monday the 2nd. So that's tough. I mean, they got to
Arizona. It's got both Kansas and Iowa State left, but both of them are at home.
Mm-hmm. And then Iowa State. And this is I'm just going to assume this is correct because this is really weird. they play at Arizona on Monday, and then they play host to Arizona State on Saturday. So that makes sense. They wouldn't spend the whole week out there, but a lot of teams, and maybe because of their proximity versus others, but a lot of teams have done the two-city trip where you go to Arizona and you play Arizona State, much like Texas Tech did, a couple weeks ago. So it's pretty interesting going down the stretch here. And I think the other thing for Texas Tech is, with these last three games, with Iowa State and then hosting TCU and then playing at BYU, you have a chance. Let's just say you win 2 out of 3, Jamie. Is that enough to show the committee that you shouldn't be penalized or seeded differently because you don't have JT Toppin, or you just can't overcome that? You're gonna get dinged a little bit.
If one of the wins is at Iowa State,
yeah,
then maybe that would show the committee.
Yeah, of course.
If you, so far you've been impressive, and I think initially I predicted 2 and 3. I think at this point of the last 5 after JT got hurt, and you're 2-0 so far, and the way that you have played through those 2 games, I am I'm surely moving off of 2 and 3 at this point and thinking 4 and 1 is absolutely a possibility. Okay. There would be, and winning at BYU, I still don't think is easy, but they lose again last night, and it makes you think that one's not quite as difficult as maybe it once was, and that's why I feel like 4 and 1 is an absolute possibility at this point. But how much credit you'll get for those 4 wins against what are not elite teams right now, compared to what you would get out of beating Iowa State, which is still an elite basketball team, that would give you a big boost.
No doubt. Mm-hmm. And then here's the deal too. It's like you go in and you win at Iowa State on Saturday, dare to dream a little bit, and now you're like, okay, now we got to win the last 2 and solidify the double bye and put yourself in a really good spot.
If you went 5-0 after including a win at Iowa State and I'm on the committee, I'm like, yep, this team absolutely can still play and does not deserve to be dinged. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool, what they've done so far. And obviously, you got a big hill to climb on Saturday, because let's face it, even with JT Toppin, it's hard to win at Iowa State. All right.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Live this morning on the Morning Drive, time for this day in sports history. Today is 2/25/26, and with this day in sports history, here is Jeff McGuire.
Chuck can't wait for tomorrow. He is super pumped for tomorrow.
It's going to be an exciting Thursday.
Like, he's just going to be ready to go. But we have to do this day first. 1933, major NFL rule changes. They put hash marks at 10 yards in and posts on the goal line.
It's amazing how big this was, because they used to use the goalposts as kind of an extra defender, especially when you had the split goalposts, the H goalpost. It's almost like,
well, that's what this is. This is the H goalpost on the goal line.
Yeah, but they moved it. You're saying they moved it back,
right? No, I'm saying this is when they put them in.
Oh, when they put them in. Okay, well then this is what they did. They would design plays to kind of put the goalposts in play, so to speak. And there's a lot of injuries with guys running into goalposts.
That's crazy talk. Just crazy. I've seen the videos of the guys smacking into it. That's hilarious. Yeah.
And some of them were like last week. 1940. First televised ice hockey game in the United States. New York Rangers defeat the Montreal Canadiens 6-2 at Madison Square Garden. W2XBS broadcasts up to 300 receivers in New York City.
Wow. Okay. 300, huh?
300. 1964, Muhammad Ali, then as Cassius Clay, wins his first world heavyweight boxing title over Sonny Liston Falls when Sonny Liston falls to come out of round 7 at the Convention Hall at Miami Beach. Fast forward to 1993, Will Flemons helps Texas Tech snap an 11-game losing streak to Texas, winning 105-103, nailing the winner with 1 second left.
Money.
And in 2019, James Harden's scoring streak of games with at least 30 points ends at 32 as he scores 28 in the Rockets' 119-111 win over Atlanta in Houston. It's the second longest mark in NBA history.
That is a really impressive streak.
It is National Chocolate-Covered Nuts Day. It is also National Clam Chowder Day and National Pancake Day.
I'll have the pancakes.
I'll have the chocolate-covered nuts.
I mean, I would have all 3 of those, actually.
Yeah.
I really would. Happy birthday to Sean Austin is 55, Bo Nix 26, Ric Flair 77, Sally
Woo!
Jesse Raphael with the red glasses is 91, Jeff Fisher 68, and Paul O'Neill is 63.
Wow, Paul O'Neill 63. Does that make you feel old, Jamie?
Just getting up every morning makes me feel old, Chuck.
And on this day in 1862, the U.S. Congress passes the Legal Tender Act, authorizing the use of paper notes to pay the government's bills. This ended the long-standing policy of using only gold or silver in transactions, and it allowed the government to finance the erroneously costly Civil War long after its gold and silver reserves were diminished. And that is this day's sports history.
This day in sports history. Thank you, Jeff. Is that Mr. 1%er the beginning of the deficit then?
Good question. My guess? Well, we started with a deficit in 1770 at the end of the Revolutionary War.
Okay.
But I don't know how quickly that got paid off or if it got paid off. I know at one point it did. Like in the 80s, I think we had paid off debt.
Yeah. I wondered if that's when the ticker
90s.
started. That's when the ticker started there, where they had the ticker that tells you how much you're in debt. It just like flies through. It was always fascinating. It's like, wow, how quickly can that go? We'll have hoops for you on the air tonight after a big night last night of high school hoops and Texas Tech hoops. The Lady Raiders take on Kansas tonight. Door is open for the Lady Raiders tonight, Jamie, because Colorado was beaten last night, so the double bye opportunity is right there for Texas Tech. You've got tonight and then Sunday, when they'll do their senior night festivities during the day, obviously. But Utah winning at Colorado last night, 67-64. So you're up to the minute standings in the Big 12 on the women's side look like this. TCU is at 13-3, then Baylor at 13-4. They've got just one game left, obviously. West Virginia, and then Texas Tech, and you would have the tiebreak with West Virginia because you beat them if you get into that situation. But right now, Texas Tech is in the 4th spot, but you've got to win tonight to keep that spot, because otherwise, if you're tied with Colorado at 11-6, they would own the tiebreak because they beat you last Saturday there in Boulder. So big opportunity on the floor tonight for the women for lots of different reasons. Seeding in the NCAA tournament, seeding for the Big 12 tournament, which is next week in Kansas City, and just overall, getting you to 12 wins. So with a home game on Sunday against Arizona State, that's no easy task, but it's easier than playing on the road and playing a team that's ahead of you, because Arizona State is 9-7 in the conference and 22-7 in overall play. So that's what you have to say about tonight. And then the other games tonight, TCU's at Cincinnati, so you would think they would win. West Virginia's at UCF tonight. A road game, but certainly an easier game than what Tech has tonight on the road. Same thing with TCU. as far as the Big 12 is concerned. So those are the teams you're kind of looking at in front of you. Arizona State, your next action on Sunday, plays host to BYU tonight. So we'll have Tech and KU tonight on 93.7 The Eagle at 6. The tip is at 6:30 this evening. So this Kansas team is probably trying to see what they can cobble up. They're 17-11, 7-9. I think it would be kind of a challenge for them to get themselves into the postseason play without winning the tournament. But a win tonight over a top 20 team would certainly be good for their resume. They're coming off of a win over K-State, Manhattan on Saturday, 75-68. And Texas Tech, of course, coming off the loss to Colorado. Same score. They lost 75-68, though. So they won 2 weeks ago at home, 70-65. Probably need to shoot the three a little bit better tonight, Jamie, and probably need to rebound just a little bit better. But I think the big number to watch tonight is points off turnovers. Got to win that tonight. KU won it last time, and Tech won it last time by 1 point. You had 14 off of 20 KU turnovers. They had 13 off 13 Texas Tech turnovers. If they turn it over tonight 20 times, you got to get 21, 22 points. And then they want to get more free throws. They want to get back to the free throw line and out free throw Kansas tonight. So that'll require driving inside. Kansas scores majority of their points in the paint, and the Lady Raiders want to be balanced tonight to be in the paint and from beyond the arc, and then, of course, the free throw line. So that'll be our action tonight as we play over at Allen Fieldhouse tonight, and the ladies will go shoot around this morning and then hoop it up tonight with the tip at 6:30. And again, we'll have it on 93.7 The Eagle. So what do you think tonight, Jamie? What's your advice for the Lady Raiders tonight?
Oh, man. I thought the first time Kansas looked like a good basketball team, so I'm going to say get off to a good start in this one. With them playing at home, I feel like I think the Lady Raiders are the better team, but I feel like this is a losable game. So getting off to a good start, getting the crowd out of it, and maybe kind of killing Kansas's confidence, I think that would go a long way in this one.
And their hope. Yep.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
We are proud to be a part of the 74th Annual Lubbock Regional Spelling Bee presented by Sonic and our friends at Fox 34. And in the spirit of that, as we have done in previous years, we do a daily challenge where Jamie gives me this random word. The Spelling Bee challenge is presented by Davis Paintless Dent Repair, and we're thankful for them. And so Jamie's got a word for me to spell. I'm 0 for 2. I missed on nincompoop on Monday. I had an N instead of an M. And shockingly, I missed the word schmooze yesterday. I didn't have an E at the end. So, I don't know, Jamie. What do you got for me today?
All right, today's word, picked out of my completely random randomizer, is a word that myself and Jeff, and I would imagine a large majority of our fine listening audience use after Chuck gives one of his opinions.
Oh, crazy? C-R-A-Z-Y.
Today's word is flabbergast.
Flabbergast. That's a word that my mom used to use quite a bit. She would just say, I am flabbergasted.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to say flabbergast, it's F-L-A-B-E-R-G-A-S-T. Flabbergast. Is there an E on the end? Flabbergast? I'm going to put an E on the end. I'm going to put an E on the end.
And you'd be 0 for 2.
I should have stopped at T, shouldn't I?
No, no, there are 2 B's.
Oh, there are 2 B's. I'm flabbergasted that I missed that.
I'm sorry, Chuck. We were all pulling for you.
Do we know how Gus is doing on this? Is he like 2 for 2, or do we know?
I have no idea.
I would assume those guys go back and forth, do they not?
Yeah,
I'm not really sure.
This is what I'm going to say. Chuck is 0 for 3 because of 3 letters, basically.
Yeah.
He's had 3 line shots to the shortstop that were on a rope, and the shortstop just jumped up and grabbed him. It's like, okay, that's one, and throws it over, and the hitter's like, man, I had that.
Yeah. It's like KU in women's basketball in their 9 losses. They've had 7 single-digit losses. Okay? So I've had 3 losses, and they're all by one word. The Lady Raiders, in their 5 losses, have 2 single-digit losses. Hi, Chihuahua.
You were one letter off, not one word off. I mean, it's only one word that you spell.
Yeah. I know one letter off, yeah. Mike Gustafson reports in that he is 1 for 2. So I don't know if his words are as, appropriate or as timely, maybe as Jamie's.
Random?
But
I think the random is the word you're looking for.
Right, they're completely random. Then why didn't we have pancake? Since it's Pancakes Day.
I don't know. I just pulled the randomizer popped out flabbergast.
Flabbergast.
Yesterday it popped out schmooze.
Schmooze. And Monday it was popped out nincompoop.
I just thought it was very ironic that it asked you to spell schmooze.
Yeah, right. It's very, very ironic.
Yeah.
Very ironic. All right, the 74th annual Lubbock Regional Spelling Bee comes up on March the 7th, which is a week from Saturday, and that'll be over at the YWCA. And young women and young men across our land will vie for the opportunity to go to the National Bee, which is in Washington, D.C., a place that I hope to go someday. Jamie, have you ever been to D.C.?
I have never been.
Me neither. I am. That's a place I want to go. The timing's got to be right. In other words, I don't want it to be. It's got to be the perfect date. Not too cold and not too hot. So I don't know what that.
He's waiting for that inauguration day. Is what he's waiting for.
Inauguration day is usually very cold and snowy. So
yeah, but I bet you'd show up if it was yours.
Oh yeah, no question, man. I mean, I don't know if I'll ever run for office. I don't think I could get elected, but maybe as a class idiot. But
what? That was a little harsh.
Well, I know. It's just kind of is what it is.
Surely you've been something, right? You were like class secretary or president or I mean, you've been on boards.
I've been on boards, right?
Yeah, were you elected to those? Or just handed that job?
Appointed, engaged,
Okay. Voluntold.
This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. My 11-year-old is now 3-0. Okay, well, good.
Here's the thing:
What was the game on television? Are you smarter than a
fifth
grader or whatever?
Yeah.
I mean, we should rename the contest. Are you smarter than Chuck Heinz?
For most people, it would be yes. Yes.
But not nearly as entertaining.
Here's the thing. I've said this before. I'll say it again. Chuck is 0 for 3 because of 3 letters.
Huh?
I would be 0 for 3 because of like 12 letters.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not a great speller myself either. Chuck's the one that has the guts to sit here on the radio and spell words that I know I would butcher. So
my guest is flabbered that Chuck is 0 for 3 so far. Yeah. Aren't all spelling bee errors off by one word? No, that one letter. Jamie said ding, ding, ding. I like goalposts on the goal line. That's where they were when Tom Dempsey kicked his 63-yard field goal and win for the Saints over the Lions. Wow, that's fascinating when you think about that, because that means Dempsey was further back than 10 yards further back than what these 60-plus yard field goals are today. So he would have had to kick a 73-yard field goal in his day in order for the Saints to win that day. When you think about it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. 7:22 this morning here on the morning drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. I really don't have. We can get started on this and continue the discussion, but the combine gets underway this week. It's probably they're already there. Probably it's the 23rd of March or the 23rd of February, which was the other day, through March the 2nd. This will be in Indianapolis. Tech has at the combine, and of course these players have used up their eligibility. Baron Morton, Caleb Douglas, Reggie Virgil on the offense, David Bailey, Skylar Gill-Howard, Romello Height, Lee Hunter, and Jacob Rodriguez on the defense. Jamie, do you have an immediate thought as to who has the most to gain from showing off their talents?
I think the person that needs to go there and perform well is Caleb Douglas. I think Caleb has the measurables, but the numbers weren't, just through the roof here at Texas Tech. I think we longed for him to turn into a go-to superstar number one receiver, and I don't know that he ever became that here in his 2 years. So I would think, like I said, he's got the measurables. He's just got to show the folks there that, he can be a big-time playmaker. I don't know if you actually get that out of the combine, but I think he still can impress them.
The guy for me, just only because, and then we'll continue this, is Skylar Gill-Howard, just because he didn't get that much time on the field last year.
Yeah, and he's coming off an injury. Yeah.
And coming off an injury.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, gentlemen, we're going to talk Lady Raider basketball today.
Okay.
At the beginning of the season, we had different expectations, my guess would be, than what you have right now. If I had asked you at the beginning of the season, hey, what determines a successful season? I think every single one of us would have said, if you make the NCAA tournament, period. No matter what happens, that's successful. Okay? Reset your expectations to where you are right now and what you have the possibility to do as far as you're still in the mix for a Big 12 regular season championship. You're still in the mix for, one of the first four, which gets the double bye, all of that. You have a lot there. What, at this point, with reset expectations, will determine it to be successful from here on out? How far do you have to go to call it successful at this point with where you're ranked, where you are in the Big 12, all the above?
I certainly think winning out would go a long ways to putting you in the position where you'd really like to be, not only in the Big 12 tournament where you'd have the double bye, and it would really set you up sweet for not having to play a bunch of games next week in Kansas City and maybe potentially winning a Big 12 title in the postseason. The Big 12 regular season title is just going to be really challenging because of the loss that you had last weekend to Colorado, and you're really going to need some help. I mean, TCU goes and loses to Cincinnati tonight, and then they lose at home to Baylor. That certainly goes a long ways to kind of getting you where you are, because you would have, if you won out and TCU lost those two games, no matter what Baylor or West Virginia did, I guess they'd still have to lose a game. Baylor, it's impossible now. We're just looking at, you can't win the Big 12 regular season title because I don't think as it stands, because TCU, if they finish 13-4, 13-5, then they would lose to Baylor, who's 13, and they would be 14-4. So it's going to be either Baylor or TCU that's going to win the Big 12 title. So at this point in time, Jamie, I'm going to say this: win out and then win a game in the NCAA tournament. But just getting to the NCAA tournament is still an extremely successful season, given that you were picked 13th and you haven't been to the tournament since 2013. But I'll up the ante and say, get in the tournament and win at least a game.
Okay. We're going to start with, to have a successful season the rest of the way, you can't have another head-scratching loss. The Iowa States, the Colorado, and Colorado might be a good team. That's a game you should have won. The what did we just witness that's so different than we've seen every other game they played this year? They have been impressive at times against really good competition. And then it just vanished in three times. And those three times, by the way, are the reason you're not winning the Big 12. So we start with no more head-scratching losses. Number 2 would be to get the double bye in the Big 12 tournament. And number 3, I think you got to be thinking Sweet 16 at this point. You have shown what this team can do against a team like Baylor, who is going to be a Sweet 16 or bust team. And you took them to the woodshed and beat them up like a redheaded stepchild. There's no reason not to think they can't make second weekend.
Oh, no, I agree with you. You just asked me what about being a success, and I think
that's
first of all, just
success to play up to your potential. So that's where I'm at.
Jamie?
Okay, I think you guys, I threw a little eye candy out there for you guys with, what you have left in the regular season, the Big 12 tournament. I mentioned that. I don't think any of it matters. I really don't. I mean, I don't want you to lose the next two, or I'd like to see you win at least one game in the Big 12 tournament, but I really don't think it matters. It matters what you do in the NCAA tournament. And so I think you're right there on the edge of being one of the best 16 teams in the country. Right there on the edge. So I'm not going to say you have to win 2 games to get to the Sweet 16 to call it successful. I definitely think you're good enough to do it. I think I lean towards thinking you will do it and get to the Sweet 16, but I'm only at 1 game in the NCAA tournament. Okay? From here on out, again, even if you lost, if we, for the season and we look back at the big picture, if you lost in the first round, we'd still say successful season, you got to the NCAA tournament. But I'm talking about where you are right now with what you think you can do. Don't take into account that it's been however many years since you've been in the NCAA tournament. Take into account where you are right now and where you think that team could potentially go to. I think they have to win 1 to be considered successful. I think there's a really good chance, above 50% chance, that you're going to win 2. But I think to be successful where you are right now, I'll call it at just 1. And I don't care what you do in the regular season in the Big 12 tournament. Again, I would like for you to not fall on your face and lose games you shouldn't lose to teams you shouldn't lose to. And I would also like for you not to go just 1 game and out in the Big 12 tournament. But what matters is what you do in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're both of you are not wrong.
I don't think any of the 3 of us are wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. We all took it a little bit different, but no, I think we all made valid points.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you could, but at the end of the day, even if they make the tournament and get beat in the first round, it's still a successful season because they made the tournament and they got some momentum back in the program, and hopefully you can build off of what you're doing this year, next year, and the years to come. Because I do think the quality of recruit coming in and what you have is going to be is going to get better each year, and part of that's being done with what you're doing right now.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
With Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today as we come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to double T973.com for that, of the mobile app. The Visual Edge IT hotline, it too is open at 806-771-0973. Love to hear from you today on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Again, you can go to the double T973 mobile app for that. All right, let's see here. This from TJ, Jamie. He said the Cowboys should give him what he wants. He's the only reason they have been competitive the last couple of years. He certainly keeps you in the game. There's no doubt about it. Brandon Aubrey, who wants more money than what the Cowboys want to give. But hey, isn't that always the case with your boss? You always want more money than the boss is willing to give. And then the boss comes back and says, hey, what if we did this? And you say, hey, what if we did this? And then you say, well, what about this? And he says, well, what about this? And then hopefully you come to an agreement, you move on.
It's this obnoxious little game that is one of the most painful things in the history of ever. For some people, maybe they like it. It is, for most people, I think they don't.
Yeah, no, it's always kind of one of those things that it depends on which end of the spectrum you're at, right? If you're the one that's doing the negotiating versus the one that is trying to get a little more, because you never get as much as you want. But I've learned in life that you got to give and take, and don't make a concession without getting one in return. And hopefully, at the end of the day, you can both sides can feel good about it. Is it fair for all concerned?
It's just the whole going in there, and this is why I think I'm great. This is why you need me. Yeah. It's not real. It's not a real comfortable place.
I'm smart enough to know that I'm replaceable. Yeah. My ego's big enough to know it's going to take 4 people.
In your case, it might be true. Yeah. In my case, not so much. Yeah. I have learned that we're all just penciled in. That's one of my rules of life. Centex Hank weighs in this morning. Just woke up. What was the word today, and did the maestro get it right? The word today was flabbergasted. The maestro was a B short for getting that spelling B word right.
Tough deal, man.
Let's see here. We get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. I don't know what this possibility is, but sure, I'd love to see it. Let's go Stars. USA got gold. Go get the cup. What's the likelihood, Jeff, of the Dallas Stars winning the Stanley Cup? I realize we got a long, long ways to go.
Yeah, I mean, you still got some time. There's I want to say the third in the West last time I looked. So they're in the conversation of, they're not Stanley Cup favorites, but they got a shot.
Yeah. Somebody wants to know if I'm going to be broadcasting the softball game with Finkner. No, there's only so much Chuck Heinz he can take. And we get to about this point in the year, and he's like counting down the games. He wants the Lady Raiders to win, I assure you. But he also knows as we get to the month of March, the number of times he's going to have to spend time with me is diminishing. He probably claps his hands at that. Jamie probably was like, "Oh man, where can I sign up for that?" Right?
For which part? Passing you off after the season ends?
Yeah, right.
Oh man, I would miss you. I would miss you. Yeah, I would miss you. Yeah, don't know what I would do myself.
Oh my God. Okay, so I heard this conversation yesterday on the bottom line with Choice Woodman and Chris Sneed, and others have talked about it a little bit. We have not. What's your take on the NCAA potentially changing the targeting rule so that if the guy targets, that he doesn't miss time in the next game, he only gets tossed from the game that he is in?
I'm not a huge fan of it.
Of what? Of changing it?
Yeah, I'm probably the only one here, but I think if you are doing something late in the fourth quarter in a blowout game, there needs to be a punishment. You missing the rest of the fourth quarter in a game that doesn't in minutes that don't matter is not a punishment.
Do you think we've seen less of the? I'll just tell you this. I hate the targeting rule, okay? Because I don't think it's fair on both sides of the ball. I see running backs all the time lower their helmet into the gut of a linebacker or a defensive back, and I feel like that the offensive guys, receivers and running backs, use their helmet as a battering ram all day, every day, and they never get called for it. And you have the slightest little deal by a defensive guy, and all of a sudden it's targeting, and he's tossed, and not only does it cost your team 15 yards, which is fine, but it also costs your team a key defensive player. I hate it. I hate it because it's so subjective, and we expect these guys to be able to stop on a dime, and it's not that way in the NFL. And I hate the whole thing.
I love how you use the word slightest little thing or word slightest little thing. I mean, because we see plenty of them where the defensive back has an opportunity to not go head to head, but you're calling those slightest little things.
Some of them are.
Some of them are and some of them aren't, but you just painted a picture of every single one. It's the slightest little thing. Some of them are slight. And you know what? Usually they don't call targeting on those. But the ones that are blatant, you absolutely, because of what it means, because of what the research shows, you have to do anything you can to get those out of the sport. And if you are a parent of a kid who's playing high school football, you absolutely want those out of the sport. And if you are a parent of a kid that's playing college football, you absolutely want those out of the sport. I know you want your kid to play football. If I had a son, I would too. Okay? But you have to. The NCAA and the rules have to be put in place to force these kids to know there is a punishment if you hit the wrong way. And 15 yards is not enough. There are not guys targeting with their helmet on the offensive side of the ball. They may lower their head, but they're not trying to inflict pain when they do it. They're trying to get low. It's a different deal. And the defensive back sees it coming too, whereas an offensive player doesn't always see it coming.
I just think I would be for not tossing the guy for the next game. I hear what you're saying, but I think losing him for that game and for the 15-yard penalty to me is enough. What do you think? Yates Flooring Center chat line.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.